like to introduce Mr. Goldberg. Dr. Goldberg is in holistic nutrition. He's a nutritionist, a writer, a researcher. And after he got his BS in food science at Florida State University, Richard Goldberg set up a natural juice bar, the first in the country, at a YMCA. He then started an organic natural food restaurant called the Garden of Life, where he developed one of the first organic vegetarian burgers, called the Waldo Burger, and distributed natural juices, snacks, party mixes, fruit granola to colleges, catering trucks, and 7-Elevens. He then managed the food service at the San Francisco County Jail and Skyline College, while continuing his studies in food nutrition, receiving a master's and a doctorate in holistic nutrition from Clayton College. He has published over 200 articles on the subject of food and nutrition, worked as a nutritional consultant for over 30 years, working with thousands of individuals, helping them to achieve improved health and happiness. 10 years ago, working with autistic kids, Richard Goldberg developed a transdermal magnesium chloride bath crystal, which became the company Remarkable Redwood Remedies. Over the past 30 years, he's been writing and researching the use of magnesium for numerous health purposes and discovered the transdermal, that is through the skin. Magnesium provides incredible benefits. For a short time, he was an assistant professor at Five Branches University, teaching nutrition to acupuncture students. Currently, he works as a nutritional consultant with Health and Nutrition, where he's able to provide free consultations on health and nutrition. Richard Goldberg has had the good fortune to have studied with some of the most amazing natural healers on the planet, and we would like to acknowledge them. Michael Tierra, Ann Whitmore, Alan Gabby, Jonathan Wright, Gene Rose, John Christopher, Alfred Fuller, Christopher Hobbs, Ernest Krebs Jr., and many others. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Richard Goldberg.
I'd like to address the audience from here. I do have some notes I want to share with everybody. One of the obligations we have as students of natural healers is to not hold the information, but to share it. And I've been blessed to study with some of the most amazing healers on the planet, including Dr. Tierra. And what my role I feel now in life is to share the information I've received and help people in the healing process. As an alternative medicine practitioner, we oftentimes run into conflicts with doctors saying that herbs and vitamins are dangerous and be careful taking them. I want to give you a little bit of a statistic here, which I think should help understand. This is from the Poison Control Center, and what they found was, and this is the 2016-2017 study, that there was not one documented death due to vitamins, herbs, Ayurvedic medicine, Asian medicine, or homeopathic remedies. Not one death anywhere in the country. And to contrast that, let's talk about how many deaths due to prescription drugs. This is according to the American Medical Association. In 1998, 116,000 deaths due to the appropriate use of prescription drugs. Now the number is over 180,000 deaths due to prescription drugs. So when doctors say that vitamins, herbs, minerals, and supplements are dangerous, we need to keep it in perspective that perhaps that's not the whole story. As a nutritionist, I've been blessed to have worked with lots of people with lots of health conditions. And what I've put together as a handout is a little bit of some science, because where we get criticized in the alternative medicine is there's no science to back up what you say. Oftentimes, doctors will tell me, oh, there's no science to omega-3, there's no science to taking vitamins. Well, let's put things in perspective. First of all, we're considered in this country some of the worst health care in the world. And that's a sad statement considering we spend more for healthcare than anybody else in the world. And so much of that has to do with the pharmaceutical industry, basically programming the doctors and the scientific medical journals into promoting pharmaceutical drugs rather than alternative natural medicine.
The hospitals are owned by Dignity Health. They own Dignity Health. The pharmaceutical companies own the hospitals.
Right, right. And we're one of the only 2 countries in the world that allow prescription drug advertising on TV, which has increased the profits and the use of prescription drugs by 8,000%. Where's the promotion of natural remedies, of health and herbs and nutrition? We don't get that. And so my role is to help people understand what we can do to improve our health. What supplements, what foods, what diets we can use to feel better. For instance, a lot of items in the brochure that I put together talk about the Mediterranean diet. And the Mediterranean diet talks about how there's a lower risk of dying with the Mediterranean diet. This was a study done in the British Medical Journal in 2018. A lower risk of dying using the Mediterranean diet, which is basically a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, fish, olive oil, low in meat and dairy products, with moderate wine consumption. There was another study. Yes. Quinoa pasta, brown rice pasta, whole grain pastas. Meta-analysis, let me explain real quick. A meta-analysis is a number of different studies examined, so it's not just one study. A meta-analysis of over 12 million subjects reported in the January 2018 issue of the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that the Mediterranean diet lowered the risk of cardiovascular disease, coronary artery disease, heart attack, cancer, and diabetes. So we do know the diet makes a difference. What we eat affects how we feel. Another article here, and you can read this on your own. I'm just going to zip through real quick. Improved cognitive function with Mediterranean diet. Evidence accumulates in favor of Mediterranean diet for healthy aging, reducing risk of heart attack in women, and continuing on. You'll notice throughout here there's scientific studies referencing all the different items that I talk about in here. So when doctors say there's no studies on taking vitamins, herbs, and nutrients, we can dispense with that fallacy and give you the information. I'm going to try and zip through because I know I don't have too much time here, because our lovely chairman here has mentioned that he's taking omega-3, and I'm sure many of you out there may be taking it, maybe not knowing why you're taking it. Somebody just said, hey, why don't you take some omega-3? Let's give you a little science on why we should take it. Greater cognitive flexibility associated with omega-3. Meta-analysis finds association between omega-3 and dry eye improvement. How many people have suffered with a condition like this and it's reversed literally in 2 to 3 weeks by taking an omega-3 supplement? Omega-3 was found recently, and this is a study in October 2018, may ease anxiety. Now, many of us are experiencing anxiety due to the stress in politics, the stress in life, and to have something safe and natural that can relieve anxiety should be a welcome addition to our program. So this study stated that there was significant relief from anxiety symptoms taking omega-3 at 2,000 milligrams a day. We're not talking about a huge dose here. 1 or 2 capsules twice a day with food worked effectively to relieve the anxiety symptoms. Omega-3 is an anti-inflammatory. Virtually all health conditions that we're dealing with are inflammatory. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, arthritis are all inflammatory conditions. And reducing inflammation will reduce a lot of the risk factors and potentially reverse these conditions. Omega-3 has been shown to be a very effective, according to this study, one of the most effective anti-inflammatory agents. The other thing that omega-3 is, it's an immune modulator. Let me explain real briefly what that is. When the immune system is overstimulated, we then have a lot of inflammatory cytokines which cascade down to prostaglandins, But basically, it creates issues. Conditions like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, colitis. These are all considered what we call autoimmune conditions, when the immune system has gone out of whack and overstimulated itself. Well, omega-3 is an immune modulator. It cools the excitatory activity of the immune system and reduces a lot of the symptoms. Omega-3 is specifically effective for heart disease. A number of different studies indicate it reduces risk of heart attacks and lowers blood pressure. Omega-3 has been used effectively as a natural remedy after a stroke to healing properties. Omega-3 is also very effective to improve blood flow to the brain. Omega-3 lowers CRP, which is a marker for inflammation, C-reactive protein. As we lower inflammation, we reduce risk of many health conditions. Recently, they questioned whether omega-3 was worth taking, and there's really no science to back it up. As I mentioned, all these studies here are based on scientific studies. It's real easy to falsify a study and make it look like it doesn't work. I'm going to give you a quick example here. And this was done, a pharmaceutical company that makes a drug called Aricept. Goes to Germany, and they want to compare Aricept to ginkgo biloba, an herb we've used extensively for brain function and circulation. What they did was they went to the German university and said, look, we don't want you to phony the research, but this is how we want you to set up. We want you to give people 30 to 60 milligrams of ginkgo once a day for 10 weeks and see if it works for dementia or mental deficiencies. And what they found was ginkgo totally did not work, was worthless. So what you got published in medical journals was ginkgo does not work for cognitive impairment, does not work for dementia. Don't waste your money, don't take it. What was not mentioned was there's over 360 scientific studies that validate the use of ginkgo, but they use 240 to 320 milligrams of ginkgo for a longer period of time. So you can make studies look any way you want by changing the dynamics of it using smaller dosages for shorter periods of time. Unfortunately, the pharmaceutical industry is known for making studies that enhance the use of their drugs and diminish the use of vitamins. 3 years ago, the head of the New England Journal of Medicine resigned in disgrace, saying that the medical journals have become nothing more than advertising rags for the pharmaceutical industry. That's against rheumatoid arthritis. Vitamin D is another immune modulator. It reduces the excitatory activity of the immune system. I got a lot more to say here, but unfortunately my time is limited. I did want to mention one thing, though, about arthritis, because that's a condition that virtually everybody can look forward to as we get older, and the options are very limited from the medical profession. In fact, one of the drugs that's promoted for treating arthritis is something called Celebrex. And I just happen to have a list of the side effects of Celebrex just for fun. This is pages long, we're going to zip through pretty fast here. Celebrex, and this is from a medical journal article, Celebrex side effects. Diarrhea, indigestion, rash, fluid retention, backache, chronic trouble sleeping, head pain, gas, inflammation of the elbow, knee angina, bleeding, bloody urine, gallstones, heart failure, hiatal hernia, spinning, ringing in the ears, stroke, yellowing of the skin, burping stomach, chest pain, contact dermatitis, drowsiness, dry mouth, dry skin, frequent urination, flu-like symptoms. There's another page. Let me just go to the back here. This is not a complete list of side effects. Others may occur. Okay, so that's Celebrex. Now, let's give you the good news. Chondroitin sulfate was found to be as good as Celebrex for knee arthritis. This is a study published May 31st, 2017, found that chondroitin sulfate, which is sold in health food stores, it's a mucopolysaccharide that we use for arthritis, has been found to be as effective as Celebrex with no side effects. Unfortunately, all the information is not being disseminated to the public, and this is something that I hope I can help share with everybody. Thanks for your attention.
Any questions for Dr. Goldberg? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, hemp seed? Hemp seed oil is a wonderful source of omega-3 for people who don't consume fish oil. And omega-3 in any form, being from hemp seed oil, chia seeds, flax oil is a wonderful natural alternative to fish oil, and I encourage all of us to consume more oils. Our brains are 60% fat. We're basically fatheads, and taking in more good oils enhances brain activity and cognitive function. Not to mention skin conditions. We treat a lot of conditions, eczema, psoriasis, dry skin, cracked skin. By taking more essential fatty acids is a total benefit in treating these conditions.
Is it true, like Larry King promoted the New Zealand, where it's grown specifically,
Oh, you're talking about the krill oil? Okay, so there's a lot of misinformation out there. I'm being gracious. There's a lot of con jobs. And krill oil is one of those con jobs. Krill oil is a source of omega-3, but it's not a very concentrated source. You really need to take quite a bit of krill oil to get the same amount you'd get in another form of omega-3. You're paying a lot more for the krill oil. And to be honest with you, it's the whales that consume the most krill, and taking more krill out of the ocean may not benefit our whales.
Good question over here.
Yes, hi.
Yes, expiration date on fish oil, and you recommend fish oil over plant-based?
As a vegetarian, I consume plant-based oils. However, the science is predominantly for fish oil, so if you're not a vegetarian, I do recommend fish oil. There is a difference in quality. Fish oil can go rancid. There's a lot of companies that sell crappy fish oil. If you take a fish oil, open it up, and it has an off taste, or don't take it. Fish oil should be a fresh tasting. It will go bad. Expiration dates are guides. Doesn't mean that a product stops working when the expiration date hits. Oftentimes there's 3 to 6 months after the expiration date that a product is still usable. But my philosophy is, when in doubt, throw it out.
Is there
Another question over here.
mercury?
That's one thing we don't have to worry about. Responsible companies will make sure that there's no toxic chemicals, heavy metals, or lead in their product. They don't want a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because they didn't send it to a lab to test for that.
Right here.
What dose vitamin D do you recommend?
Well, it used to be we only thought 400 IUs was the appropriate amount. And then doctors started saying, well, we can kick it up to maybe 800 or 1,000. And then there were warnings. They said, don't forget, vitamin D is fat soluble and it could cause liver problems. One of my teachers was a doctor that practiced for 45 years, Dr. Cathcart, and I said, Dr. Cathcart, should I be concerned with my patients about higher doses of vitamin D? He said in his 45 years of practice, he has never seen a case of vitamin D overdose, and he's offered his patients up to 50,000 international units a day for a month at a time. So we've apparently seen no problem with larger dosages. I'm now recommending 4,000 to 10,000 for conditions, and larger for some specific areas like autoimmune and skin conditions.
Okay, right here.
I know there are good and not so good and bad supplements.
Exactly.
Do you have a place, a site, where someone can go to find out which supplements are?
Health and nutrition. I can't promote it.
Okay, so this should not be a promotion for a business. I've been blessed to work for the owners of a health food store in Felton called Felton Nutrition. And basically my role there is to just help people. I don't have to stock vitamins, I don't have to sell anybody anything. I have an office in the back, I invite people to come and sit down and we talk about health and nutrition and vitamins, and I will make recommendations. I don't work on a commission, there's no vested interest in me promoting a product other than I want to give people good, honest information and tell them what their best options are.
So there's not
a good website because
nothing
there's,
that's reliable.
right, at this time, right.
Any other questions?
Well, thanks for your attention. I am available at Felton Nutrition. My card is on the table. Feel free to come in, and I'd be happy to discuss any health condition with anybody.